And welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining us. I have a really exciting thing going on today for you folks in Savannah. 4A-Region 3 action. We have all of the elements from the girls teams here with you right now. We have Coach Brooker from Jenkins. Coach Brooker, thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you. I'm sorry, I had you muted, Coach Brooker. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We have Coach Salas from Islands High School. Coach Salas, thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me as well, sir.
No problem. And last but not least, we have Coach Campbell from New Hampstead High School. Coach Campbell, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Coach Clemens. Great opportunity to get exposure out for these games coming up this week.
Absolutely. And I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody play. And so with that, I kind of want to just jump into it because I know it's been an extremely trying season. So just want to go around and Coach Brooker, I'll start with you off bat. What would you say has been the biggest thing you've had to deal with this year because of COVID-19?
I would definitely say not having a preseason. That really hurt my program, I think. Going that long without being able to develop those young players, those players coming from middle school, being able to teach fundamentals and get them accustomed to the game plan here over here at Jenkins really hurt us a lot. Only having that month or so to get, everybody on the same page. I lost 7 seniors last year, so that was a really huge thing that really impacted us coming into the season, I would say.
Absolutely, and I know that can always be difficult when you're trying to break in new people and you don't have a large roster. Coach Salas, same question for you. What's something that you think was, what you really had to deal with here in COVID?
Kind of echo the sentiments of Coach Brooker there. I mean, not having that summer kind of set us back, but also in season-wise, we lost 5 or 6 games, and so you're having to go almost 2 weeks at times without playing anyone, and you might get shut down for practice for a couple of days. So just being able to maintain a rhythm and a flow when you start getting in some winning ways, it made it a little difficult to keep that going.
And Coach Campbell, same thing for you. What was something that you had to deal with this year with everything with COVID?
For us, it was mostly the lack of kids coming out for basketball. A lot of kids had signed up for basketball, but due to COVID, they felt that it was a risk, so they didn't come to try out. So we've been playing with probably 7 to 9 players the whole season. So for us, that's been the biggest thing for us, just having enough personnel to even play games.
And I know that that's been a really difficult thing for everyone. And I've been around to everyone's games. I know that there are some teams who've been blessed with deeper rosters. Like I know Coach Salas has a pretty deep roster, but even some of the bigger, more prominent schools like Johnson, they only have 8 kids on their varsity roster, and you don't really see anything as far as the JV programs from those guys. So I know that's difficult on your end. I know it's probably difficult on the boys' end as well. Second question is, just talk a little bit about your veteran leaders. I know all of you have some really quality veteran leaders, some seniors that you're about to say goodbye to. Just tell us a little bit about those veteran leaders. And Coach Salas, we'll start with you.
All right. We've got 6 seniors this year, and a lot of them have had to patiently wait their turn. They came in freshmen, sophomores, and had some kids ahead of them. But one of our biggest ones has been Mari Simpson. She went from 5-6 minutes a game to she plays almost full 32. Completely embraced her role on defense, and her and Jordan Alberry. Jordan doesn't get the minutes, but in practice on the bench, they're both holding standards. They're making sure players are in the right spots. They're talking, communicating, which is one of our big standards that we have at our school. So senior class has been very good at that, but we've also had some younger kids step up, like Devin Long and Veronica Searzan have been also enforcing standards and trying to make sure that we do the things that we started in year 1 as a program to now, and we're just trying to keep things rolling that way. we've got some good senior leadership this year, so it's been helpful.
Absolutely, and I know that we'll talk about some younger kids later. I know that you, like I said, you play a nice range of kids, and definitely you can see a lot of the grittiness in some of your players as well. Coach Brooker, what about you? We know that you got a dynamic duo over there that you've been leaning on all year.
When I tell you, I'm gonna cry. I am gonna cry. I am gonna cry. I have the dynamic duo with Story Days and Shaylin Frazier, two seniors. This is my second set of seniors I've seen all the way through, and by far I've had the pleasure of coaching them this entire time, and I am definitely gonna miss their leadership on and off the court. They've maintained GPAs that are immaculate. Shaylin right now is number one in her class. So that leadership off the court, juggling, classes in a virtual setting, as well as the rigor of a basketball season, I'm going to definitely miss that leadership from both of those young ladies. Story is just a tenacious defender, great vocal leader. I'm looking forward to see who steps up in her place. So those two right there, I'm definitely going to miss because they lead on and off the court, and that kind of thing you can't coach. You can't. It just has to be in that student athlete. So those two, I'm definitely going to miss.
And I wanted to follow up really quick on that because I know that they've had to almost play roles that aren't really probably what they're going to have to play at the next level. How do you think that's been able to affect their game? Have you seen them react positively to having to handle the ball more, be more involved in setting up offense, setting up defense? How do you think that's played with them?
I love them both for accepting the role. A lot of times players are like, I'm a point guard, I'm a shooting guard, and I don't want to do X, Y, and Z. But those two have taken on the challenge and have led by example. I'll say that Story has never played power forward or center ever, but because of her height and her size and what we have on our bench, she's rose to the occasion. She's down there, down low, and she's being, just a big help on defense when it comes to being at five. And with Shaylin having to bring the ball up, being more of a guard, and then playing down low as well, they both rose to the occasion and definitely taking on those roles. So on the next level, they'll have to probably scale back and be guards, of course, because of their height and their size, but they can do it all. They can do it all. Any school next level will be lucky to have both of them.
And Coach Campbell, just speak a little about your seniors and what they've meant to your program, not only this year, but over the last few years.
Okay, well, this is my first year with the girls, and the two that I actually had one that graduated in December. So Deja Albright, she graduated early, and she tore ACL at the same time. So, she's done with high school. But my other two are Raven Dunham and Mackenzie Williams. Raven, she is going to play softball in college, and she's all around. She plays soccer, basketball, but she's always been a leader. She's played for New Hampstead for 3 years in basketball. I think she started every year. But her games, I was at the school last year. Her games improved a whole lot from last year. She's a vocal leader. She's the one that gets everything started. And then on the other side, I got Mackenzie Williams, which is the coach's daughter, Coach Jeff Williams, our boys coach. And she just her tenacity, her meanness, and her toughness. She's the small one on the team, but she's our leading scorer, and she would basically do anything you want her to do. So those two have been our leaders. And besides that, Adia Gray, she's a junior. Now, when the season first started, she didn't want to play. She just said, "I want to be a manager. I'm not really good at basketball. I played last year, but I think the last game against ours, she had 11 or 12 points. She twisted her ankle, so I hope she'll be back for state. But she plays a bunch of sports too. I think she was all region for volleyball, and she plays soccer too. So most of my girls like 3-sport athletes, so they don't really concentrate in basketball, I think, except for maybe Mackenzie and one of the freshmen. But, their leadership has made my transition to New Hampstead a great experience.
And Coach Campbell, I want to talk a little bit about the idea of multi-sport athletes, because I think a lot of times today that moniker is getting a negative connotation, like people should be specializing. But like, can you just talk about the amount of doors that these young ladies have been able to open because they're involved in so many sports?
I think it's exposing the different forms of competition. I coach track, I've coached football, I've coached basketball, but over at New Hampstead, I don't know about other schools. A lot of these kids, they play all three sports, maybe even four if they could. We kind of limit them on playing more than one sport per season, but sometimes they'll do it outside with a club team or AAU team or whatever. But I think it makes them more marketable, makes them experience different things, experience different coaches, work on different skills that they can apply. What I learned in soccer, I can apply to basketball because, our goalie for soccer is our Michaela Gray. And, she's kind of our post player. Even though she's a point guard, just like what Coach Brooke was saying, she's playing out of Division II. So she was a guard last year, and now she's in the post. So, these girls have had to adjust, and 3-sport athletes or 2-sport athletes. I'm kind of thing where you try it out everything until you can't go anymore. That's how I was in high school. I played, basketball and track. Basketball phased out, so I got a track scholarship. So you do it until you can't do it. Have fun in high school. Don't so much look at offers and all these different things. I signed my scholarship in the summer. It was after I graduated. So, anything can happen. You can walk on, go to the school you want to, make the team, make a difference. You're muted.
Oh.
Well, I know you couldn't hear me. I'm sorry. But I was saying absolutely, I agree with you. I think, in me being a multi-sport athlete, and my son being a multi-sport athlete, all the young men that I've mentored over the years, I've always believed that being a multi-sport athlete not only helps you to better market yourself, but it also allows you to continue to develop physically, because each sport has its own uniqueness to it that you might use some muscles in volleyball that you're not necessarily using when you're playing soccer, and so that helps you in all those areas. And I know that Coach Silas has a lot of multi-sport athletes as well on his team, and a lot of them, for a lot of you guys, are not going to even play basketball at the next level. They're going to play volleyball, they're going to play softball, they're going to run track. And so I think that's a great thing to really continue to promote to these young ladies, that you can have fun in high school and do all of these different sports and not just specialize in one. And it's not going to hurt you. Like, I can tell you, it doesn't matter whether Searson wants to play basketball or whether she wants to play volleyball in college. They are coming. And, it really just depends on her wanting to have fun and what she wants to do with her life. And I think that applies to all these young ladies, especially when you do the thing in the academic realm that you should do. Third question. We want to talk a little bit about the newcomers or the ones that have jumped onto the scene this year. Coach Campbell, why don't you start us off? Talk to us about some of your young up-and-comers that you've really seen jump onto the scene this year.
Okay, I mentioned Michaela Gray. She's just a sophomore. She's a Diagra's younger sister, and she has come into form through the season. She's blocking shots, she's rebounding, she's being more of a leader. Now she's trying to score some points. So it's just the tip of the iceberg with her right now. I have a sophomore, Jaden Bray. She's a soccer star, and she has improved a whole lot over the season. And then Akira Jackson, she's a freshman. She's actually the cousin of Raven Dunham. So she kind of follows her lead, and Raven can get on her in practice, and she's a great shooter. So I think in the Islands game and some of the games we had before that, she's finally come out that shell of just playing instead of thinking.
Absolutely. And Coach Silas, you tell us about some of the youngins that you have, doing some things for you this year.
We've got three in particular. Of course, everyone knows about Veronica Searsant, and I mean she was an all-region GACA all-state player freshman year, but she played as the guard. And so this year we started off at guard, and we realized pretty quick we needed her to play inside a little bit more. And she's been working on her footwork, and it's still a relatively new position. I mean, in middle school, She's 6 feet tall, and ball goes into you, you're going to score a lot. So she's having to learn some nuance, especially going against Story Days and Shaylin Frazier over there at Jenkins. They give her a hard time, so she's learning that one. We have Devin Long, a sophomore, big-time softball player. She's transitioned from forward to kind of a point guard role for us, and struggled a little bit at the beginning of the season, but she's come along. Last game she had, I think it was 6 or 7 assists. She just sees things that a lot of kids on the court don't see, and she anticipates a lot of movement really well. And our last one's junior Hannah Summerall. Started off the year, again, kind of relatively new to basketball. It's only her second year playing. And moving to the forward role in her last 2 games, she's averaging about 15 a game and 9 rebounds. So we're starting to build a little core from the inside out. And once these seniors leave, those 6 seniors, we're in pretty good shape with the young kids we have.
Absolutely, absolutely. Coach Brooker, what about you?
All right, I have another dynamic duo, if you will, coming up. I have 2 sophomores, Aaliyah Murray and Ashton McKay. Aaliyah leads us. I told her from the very beginning of the season that she is our defensive charge. As everyone knows, we run a 3-2 zone, and she's at the top of that 3-2 zone, and it starts with her. The aggressiveness that she has, the on-ball defense that she has is our charge. So I'm looking forward to seeing how she develops over the next 2 years. And Ashlyn McKay, that's our sniper right there. We call her Logo Ash because in practice she will pull from the logo and will hit consistently. So I'm looking forward to seeing how she develops over the next 2 years, offensively, but defensively as well. She's definitely developing more and more than she was last year. Like I said, I wish we had that time over the summer to kind of get her footwork together. But other than that, she's both athletes are multi-sport athletes. They both play. One plays softball, one plays volleyball, but it definitely helps as far as their conditioning goes. So I'm looking forward to them being the next 2 to step up and take over and lead after Story and Shaden leave. So I'm really excited. We have 3 freshmen, Trinity Cody, Kaya Bryant, and Kayana Prevert, that I think will definitely follow in next year as we get to the off season and definitely develop them. They'll definitely take charge as well. So I'm looking forward to all them developing.
Absolutely, and I think especially with a young lady like Kaya Bryant, who's already in a nationally ranked power lifter, and probably pound for pound, like size for size, one of the most athletic girls in Savannah. I don't know if y'all noticed her skying over y'all 6-footers to go and grab rebounds, but she is tough as nails. She is tough as nails. So I want to get you guys out of here on this. I know that everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to win that tournament. What do you think is going to be the deciding factor in winning the tournament this week for your team or for any team that's competing? Coach Salas, let's start with you.
I think, in all honesty, it's going to come down to a game of runs. All 4 games we played in have been really close. New Hampstead took us to overtime the first time, and then, they've all been nail biters at the end, and it's been Jenkins goes on an 8-point run, and then we come back and go on a 8-point run of our own, and it's just neck and neck. And to this point, we've been fortunate that we've gotten the last run in and been able to kind of hold on at the very end of games. So it might come down to a last possession every single time. It's just who's composed in the moment and when is that big run going to come in every single game.
Coach Campbell, you.
I kind of echo what Coach Sal was saying. It's basically been a tight region. I've played in coached in other regions before, and it's been the disparity between the teams. But now, we're pretty much equal. Everybody has their own strengths. We're kind of smaller than everybody else. We're kind of faster. Ours is bigger. Jenkins, they have some size and they have some shooters. So, everybody has their own strengths. But I guess it's just going to come down to who executes the best. We have the longest road to go. It's kind of like we're in a 3-1 series, and we got to win 3 games this week if we want to be the champ. So, we're going to do our best and see what we can do to get there. So, we're just going to play the way we've been playing, and, hopefully it works out for us.
And finally, Coach Brooker, what about you?
I think I'm going to kind of piggyback on both coaches. My coaching philosophy this season has been execution, no excuses. So it's going to come down to who can get the job done. It's like Coach Salas said, it's been nail biters for both games. Even when we played New Hampstead, we struggled from the free throw line and they went to overtime, and then we lost 2 games to Islands as well. So it's going to come down to who can execute their game plan the best and come out triumphant, and just not make excuses, whether it's refs or foul trouble, that kind of thing. Just who can get the job done. Who can get the job done.
Absolutely, and I appreciate it. Coach Brooker, Coach Salas, Coach Campbell, good luck to you all this next week. I know everybody wants to be on that top line. We know you all represent Savannah in the state playoffs, and we're looking forward to watching it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all the time I have. I have been Coach Gene Clemens, and once again, make sure that you check us out when we start broadcasting games this week. Region 4-3 or Region 4-3 or Region 4A-3. I always get confused on how they situate it, but make sure that you check us out as we start broadcasting. We'll have our 3-camera angle up this week, and I really do appreciate the coaches for joining us. So until next time, y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach.